Typically, I wait until a live stream to cover a topic such as this, but I frankly could not wait because this is actually kind of an important one. And now, with the weekend kind of behind us, wanted to tackle that Hasbro Pulse fan stream that they put out on Friday. And I gotta be honest, it was actually kind of good. And I think one of the things that helped was that the pacing was a lot tighter. I noticed that it was just a little shy of 40 minutes, and I feel like that was the thing. That was effectively it, what probably made it a bit of an easier watch. But on top of that, there was actually some reveals that I thought to myself were kind of neat. Were actually pretty awesome. The first one here was actually Electro. That finally, according to them, and frankly, I think they are on the money here, the last No Way Home announcement, reveal, and eventual release. I feel like this one's probably going to come a little sooner rather than later. This is probably the final one that they needed to actually deck out there because, according to them, they pretty much completed the wave. You have all three Spideys, and you virtually have every single villain. We had Doc Ock as a deluxe, we had Green Goblin as a deluxe, Sandman as his own individual, and it's most recently been not only revealed but also went up for pre-order a little while ago, the Lizard deluxe figure, and now finally we have Electro, the Jamie Foxx character, complete with the pants, the shirt, but also all of the different augmentations and cables that you can kind of see right here strung out throughout. And they kind of got a little clever and managed to come up with a way to not either botch the likeness or have to pay for the likeness to Jamie Foxx at all by having him be decked out with the full Electro, very classic looking electrical surge coming out of his face, which you do see for like a few frames in the movie when he appears, but then it just kind of dissipates because that's the reason for why the studio pays Jamie Foxx the big bucks. But here in figure form, you don't necessarily have to do that since they were able to deck him out with that little mask, that electrical mask right there, translucent yellow, along with the lightning symbols. It's a pretty nice little piece. I'm still kind of on the fence because I think it was a pretty good idea to have this guy be the last one, considering that I feel like out of all of the No Way Home characters, this one probably, I mean, no disrespect to Jimmy Fox, but this one probably has the least amount of pull, the least amount of desire from a lot of fans because it take whether it be from Marvel Legends to even Hot Toys, the Spideys are always going to sell. Maybe some of the villains, specifically some of the ones that are very embedded into nostalgia and really correlated with great movies, Doc Ock and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, to the point where Green Goblin got two figures, the original and then the modified one. But with this guy, I don't know. Nevertheless, mainline retailers are going to be having this up for pre-order by January 30th. So coming up pretty soon at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be, 10 p.m. Pacific for Best Coast, West Coast. I don't want to cap off this video without, of course, mentioning Miles Morales, or at least Ultimate Miles Morales, as part of this mini comic series in which basically they're going to be bringing forward some of these characters here, some of which we've never heard of. Like, I got to be honest, I never heard of Dakin taking on over the Wolverine mantle with those awkward claws coming out of his hands. But part of this wave is also going to be this ultimatized version of Iron Man, Adam Warlock, and also Ultimate Miles Morales. Frankly, though, I do feel like this is here where we start to kind of go back to what I was, criticizing Marvel Legends before, where we're taking some existing bugs and just kind of repainting them. Like, I'm looking at the legs, I'm looking at the tooling of this thing, and not only does it look a little been there, done that with the tooling, though I do like, of course, the color clash of predominantly black with the red. That's quintessential for Miles Morales Spider-Man. But at the same time, there's not too much brand new happening here, whether it be with the body or the accessories, that is speaking to me, even if it comes with this cute mini comic book. And they mentioned it's going to be plastic, which has its pros and cons. The main pro is that it's not going to weather. It's like they mentioned in the stream, it's not going to deteriorate over time. It's going to be long lasting. But on the downside, on the cons, it is still a comic book accessory, and there's a part of me that still wishes that you could flip through it. I take care of paper-like accessories, like I think it was like Sentinel Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse that came with like a newspaper, and I make sure that I fold it properly, put it back into the box, and make sure nothing happens to it. So I ultimately feel like at that point it's a matter of user error as far as determining if you want to throw in paper comic accessories like this or if you want to make them plastic. But nevertheless, that's included. Don't know how I feel about this head sculpt, because if you look at it closely, you know how recently they made a certain change to that new Spider-Man cartoon that's going out on Disney Plus, and because of that trailer, a lot of people were sharing certain memes of Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn. But it is a Spidey character. I'm gonna wait to see if we could get some clear photos from either Marvel Legends themselves, from Hasbro themselves, or maybe at some kind of convention where maybe this guy looks a little bit better in person. I'm still intrigued by this wave, but at the same time, not as much as that Maximum Spider-Man. But I still needed to give him a little bit of a mention in this video, nonetheless. So only time will tell. But literally following that was the main course. That was just the appetizer. This is exactly what everybody's talking about, to the point where I'm already gonna press the theater mode here to blow it up. The Maximum series is being debuted by Hasbro, and to kick it off, of course, you gotta, like they mentioned, go big and bring out a heavy hitter. Of course, Spider-Man, which some people mentioned in the comments of that post that I made on Friday. At the time, I couldn't really make this video. It's just a community post. But a lot of you called attention to the fact that this is, in fact, the Todd McFarlane Spidey. He's even got the post right there where he's doing this towards the camera. The web's going towards the frame that Marvel themselves had a problem with, but McFarlane said, I'm going to do it anyway. And now we have a full-on figure that, according to Hasbro, according to these guys here at the head of Marvel Legends, it's a brand new buck, brand new kind of approach to articulation. The paint is nice. I know a lot of people would have preferred like a different shade of blue. I gotta be honest, I know that maybe it doesn't pop as much as it did on that original McFarlane cover, but there's just something about it, at least being held in hand here by Dwight, that it just legitimately looks awesome. In some of these pictures, it looks a little brighter, but at the same time, I can't tell if maybe they tampered with it Photoshop-wise, or if it's maybe a certain angle or saturation, or maybe the lighting. But as from a conceptual point of view, from the eyes to the webbing, this is probably the first Marvel Legends I'm legitimately hyped for. Like, I'm actually like, okay, as soon as February hits, when they said that the pre-order details are going to be coming forward for this guy, I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be checking social media. I'm going to be checking out their Twitter, making sure that I didn't miss anything, tweeted out or reposted by Dan, because he likes to be on social media, because this guy is legitimately the business as far as the pinless articulation, the toes, the way that, again, it just brings forward that, as a lot of kids like to say these days, that aura, that thing that I'm like, yeah, this is, for the first time, I'm legitimately stoked for a Marvel Legends pre-order. And I know that this could fundamentally be feeding into a Spider-Man bias, but I don't care. And if we skip a little ahead here, this is where things get even cooler, though with a little bit of caveats here and there, and that would have to be the accessories. I mean, going forward with everything that's packed into the box, you guys know me, I'm a huge proponent of value being packaged into the box as best as possible with a very good set price point, which at the time right now they have not disclosed. I know a lot of people are very quick to be like, oh, how much is it? When is it going on pre-order? Guys, I don't know. Nobody knows here, and they're going to be divulging those details probably as soon as February hits. It is the shortest month of the year, so I don't expect them to be spending too much time just chilling back and not letting us know exactly what's going to be included inside of the box. But you can see right here that they're going to be including quite a bit. So if we skip on a little bit ahead here and we get like a full breakdown of everything that's included, not only do you get the figure, not only do you get an alternate head sculpt that's got different kind of patterned eyes, but then of course you're going to have the Peter Parker head, which I gotta be honest, I'm a little suspicious of, because the eyes look a little funky as far as like just looking very psychotic. If anything, they look a little bit more Cletus Cassidy-like, but still, it's fundamentally meant to be Peter Parker as far as a McFarlaneized version. They just don't want to really call it McFarlaneized. But naturally, he's also going to come with the web accessories as far as the strands, the one that looks like it's like a sphere or like a cone, but then the one that's like shooting out in terms of like that stretching out cone, which they teased a few streams back then when they were kind of twiddling away the accessories. So it's cool that they finally brought it back full circle. The Spidey sense symbol that you can attach to one of his heads, and then of course the alternate hands with the web shooting, the wall crawling, and even the the naked hands that come with the web shooters. truth be told, and even the base to prop up, because they know that that thing just slumps up down. So it's cool that they're actually including this along with the little thwip being thrown midair. That's gonna be awesome. And imagine people who are very savvy with Photoshop. They're gonna be able to like just Photoshop and cover. And the shield, okay, that's meant to be a web shield. So a web shield, the thwipping, the shooting out accessories. There it is. There's an awful lot packed into this bad boy that yeah, this is definitely a dopo, as they like to say in the community, a day one pre-order. Now, when exactly is going to be that pre-order? Of course, right now they are not telling us. Like I said, they've got a lot of accessories at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, no, it's like 12 hands total from what I can tell there on the side of the box. So, yeah, the reaching out hands, wall crawling hands, fists, thwipping, and then, of course, the naked ones that have the web shooters. This is a banger of a packing box. You got the awesome packaging, which they're showing a little bit right here in the feed, but then they show us the back here, which is awesome. Really well decked out as far as compositions and whatnot. You got the side of the box right there. But if you do want to take it a little step further, Dan later tweeted this, yo, with the spider symbol, and it's basically just him holding the box, except in much better lighting, much better of a close-up, and you can see the front of the box right there. And I'm also glad that they're doing the box format. I'm so glad that they're doing this, because I want to mess around with the packaging as little as possible when it comes to the unboxing process. So whenever it's the retro card, it means that I need to cut it on the outside. Sometimes I don't do uneven cuts and it tatters it. So it's cool that whenever it comes to these boxes, you just gotta cut that tape, lift the tab, lift the flap on the top or on the bottom, and all you have to do is just pull the figure out. So I'm very excited for that. And they did make it clear that there's going to be more included in the Maximum series, which means that maybe we're going to get much more definitive versions of these characters. Of course, I have a Spidey bias, so it's good that they're getting my biases out of the way. But at the same time, if they could do something like that with, of course, an awful lot of big, best-selling name characters, classic characters, of course, like Wolverine and a good majority of the X-Men. But, of course, Hulk, I think I saw some people saying that they want a very definitive Hulk, a definitive Iron Man that feels like something quintessential in the comics, but not very specific to, like, Silver Age or anything like that. There's an awful lot of possibilities. So, I'm legitimately hyped for the Maximum series. I really want potential to be extrapolated here. But, a lot of people, including myself, are asking, how much is this going to be? Because this, at the end of the day, we have to remember that this is still Marvel Legends, and sometimes they can get a little snooty with that price point. And considering the sizing of the box, there's something in me that wants to say this is going to be marked at $39.99. This is gonna be retaining a deluxe figure price tag, just like the Doc Ock did from No Way Home, like the Green Goblin did, and I believe also the Lizard is doing with the No Way Home. Every time that they're included in this box, such as also like that Colossus from the Deadpool movie, recently the Red Hulk for the Captain America movie, they often retail for the $40. I just can't shake the feeling that this guy's gonna go for $400. I'm still thinking about the Switch too. But as you can see, those details will be disclosed further in February, along with a pre-order date, which channels. It says Amazon fan channels, so I can only assume safely assume it's gonna be Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, possibly a couple of others of that you probably like to choose, as such as Nerdzoic, etc. But as far as pricing, $40. If they do push it past that point, a lot of plus-ups there. I honestly think it's gonna get a little too stingy. Granted, it's Spidey. I need to cover it on the channel. We cover Spider-Man figures here, Batman figures, so this is practically mandatory. But I know it's gonna sting a lot worse if it ends up pushing the $40 price tag. And because Spidey is their big seller, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that they'll mark it even further than that, probably up to $50. And that is probably going to stress some people out and not put them in the best graces. So I would say, Hasbro, if you know what's smart for you, which I think you do, but sometimes you just choose to ignore it, 40 is comfortable. 35 would be even nicer, but 40 is comfortable. Past 40, you're starting to make people uncomfortable. But we'll see in February how that turns out.